Introducing the all-new Corolla.
5 persons have tested positive for exposure to tuberculosis at Untaland Middle School after a teacher at the school passed away from active TB earlier this month. The positive skin test results follow a contact investigation by the Department of Public Health and Social Services, but Department of Education Deputy Superintendent Rob Millay says a positive test result does not necessarily mean the individuals have active TB.
So before anyone starts getting into a panic mode, let's just let the process move forward. And what that means is that they will now be required to go through a chest x-ray. And in the interim, while they're waiting for that chest x-ray to clear them from the skin test, they will not be allowed to return to the campus until we get assurances that they do not have active tuberculosis.
Millay adds that further contact investigations will be dependent upon the results of the chest x-rays. Meanwhile, the Guam Education Board last night discussed the TB skin testing policy that was suspended at the start of the school year to determine whether to extend the suspension. The policy requires students to get a PPD skin test not just before entering the school system, but also before transitioning between elementary, middle, and high school. That policy was suspended until January at the start of the school year because of a nationwide shortage of skin tests. During discussion, board member Barry Mead expressed his concern about having the policy suspended, considering the higher per capita presence of the disease on Guam.
I know there's an imposition on parents because of the expense. I know there's an imposition on the public health system, but at the same time, we now have 154 possible folks being tested again for having TB, and rest assured, we have a person who passed away from TB this year.
Superintendent John Fernandez, however, reminded the board that the policy was suspended because of the nationwide shortage of testing supplies. He also noted that the Department of Public Health is engaging DOE in discussing the effectiveness of the test. In fact, the teacher who passed away from TB recently provided the department with a negative skin test result last July.
If they tested positive or negative at the beginning of the school year, where then in that length of time did they end up coming into contact with TB? Was it at the school? Was it at the shopping mall? Was it someplace else? But where did that happen? And that's the real question, because if it happened in the school, then we have another issue. And I don't know if we've answered that question. I don't know if public health has asked that question. Where did the person come into contact with that, with the TB?
Upon Superintendent Fernandez's recommendation, the board decided to suspend a decision on extending the policy until the next board meeting, when Fernandez will have more information on the availability of testing supplies and a more sound policy recommendation from public health. Betsy Brown, PNC News.